Hi there, my name is Phil from 2020 Sounds. Thank you for clicking on my channel. Today's video is the last part in a 4-part series about how I started my business. In part 1 I described my love affair of music. In part 2 I described how I started my DJ business. In part 3 I discussed what went wrong and the lessons that I learnt from my mistakes. And in this part 4, I will go on to describe the lessons that I've learnt in my 11-year journey and things that I implement every single day to help me stay hungry and to help me want to achieve more. So the first thing I think I really need to point out is why I started my business in the first place and what being in business means to me. Now, there are a lot of people that are in business because they want to earn a lot of money. There are a lot of people that are in business because they like the adulation of being in business. They like all the likes they get from Facebooks and all the different followers and all that comes with that and the infamy of all that. For me, I've never had that. I've never wanted to be the centre of attention. I've never wanted to do this job to earn lots and lots of money. My business is incredibly important to me. It's important to me as much as a parent it would be. My business is like my child, and I want to have the very best for that as I possibly can. And every single day, I'm constantly looking at different ways to improve myself, to improve my business, to improve how I communicate better, to improve everything that I can possibly do. If there's something for me to learn, then I will look to try and learn, and I will look to try and do that as the best I possibly can. And that's the reason why I'm in business, because it actually makes me a better person. It suits my mindset and it suits the person that I am, because as much as I have achieved, and I'm incredibly proud of what I've achieved in my 11 years and all that I've done in those 11 years, there is so much more to learn and there is so much more to achieve that there is no end in sight. And that's what fascinates me, is that I can make this business as big or as small as I want it to be, and my only limitations are myself. And I don't ever limit what I believe I can do, and I don't ever limit what I believe that I can achieve. So I will always try to strive to be a better person and to run a better business. And that's really the reason why I'm in business, because I genuinely love what I do. So the one thing I always say to people, which goes back to what I said in 2012, is that you have to have a vision in place. You have to know, you have to have a goal, and you have to know where you're going. If you don't have a vision and if you don't have a goal, it's like getting in a car and just assuming you're going to arrive at your destination. You won't. Without a goal in mind, without a destination, you won't achieve all the targets that you want to achieve. You have to be very diligent and you have to be very focused on that. So what I do with my vision and with my goal, each year I change my goal. So I'll have a 12-month goal, and I write it on a big, huge piece of paper, and I put it in my office upstairs, and I write it down, and each thing that I do I then cross off. So it might start off with a list of 20 things to do, and then as the year goes on, it might obviously those go down and down and down and down. And that makes me work harder, and it makes me work because I desperately want to achieve all the goals that I set out for myself in a 12-year period. So writing down and visualising your goals so you see it every single day makes you work harder. It certainly does in my regard. Having a vision and having a goal works hand in hand with having passion and having determination. Seeing your goals clearly laid out and seeing what you've got to achieve helps with that passion and determination. So for instance, I'll give you an example. We've now obviously taken on the dance floor, and the dance floor is a huge commitment. So for instance, it takes a long time to get into a venue. Sometimes it takes a long time to put it down. It then takes you a long time to take it out of the venue, and then the next day you've then got to clean it up to sometimes 3 to 4 hours. So that is a huge commitment to take on board. And sometimes it feels like hard work doing that. But knowing that you're working towards your goal and working towards a target makes you passionate. So all that hard work doesn't feel like hard work because you're working towards something. So that money that you've made through that evening, it feels like, well, that money that I've made goes towards that goal or goes towards me achieving that target or that saying. So the work that you do becomes less because you're actually, the bigger thing is you're actually achieving your goals and your targets. So being passionate and being determined really does go hand in hand with having a vision. And you have to be really passionate about your business. Nobody's going to care about your business more than you do. Nobody is going to talk highly about your business as much as you do. Nobody's going to put in all the hard hours and all the long hours and do all the things that go to making your business work as much as you do. So you've got to be incredibly passionate. This isn't a 9 to 5 job. This isn't a Monday to Friday job. This is sometimes, you might start work at 8 in the morning and you still be doing it 8 in the evening, and then on weekends as well. You're probably working 7 days a week. If that doesn't sound like you, then you're not going to be in business for very long. You have to literally eat, breathe and sleep being in business. It is a constant thing. And if you're not passionate about that, then your drive and your determination will soon start to dissipate. And having that passion and having that vision and having that goal will spur you on. The other thing as well I also say as well is don't have a plan B. When you set your goals out at the beginning of the year, your plan A, they are your goals. There isn't a plan B. If you said you're going to do those 20 things, you have to do those 20 things. As soon as you start thinking about plan B, you start taking away from your plan A. So your plan A is absolute. That is it. There is no plan B. Plan A has to work. And if plan A is starting to falter or it's starting to go a little bit wrong, put provisions in place to make sure you're doing everything you can to work towards your goal. Don't start thinking about a plan B, because as soon as you start thinking about a plan B, you stop thinking about the plan A, and you start making excuses. Oh, well, that didn't work because of that, and I didn't have time to do that, or I didn't have to. If you want to achieve something, you'll find time. If you want something badly enough, you will achieve it. But you have to be absolute, and you have to be rigid, and you have to work incredibly hard. There are no second chances. You have to keep. If you fail, take stock of what you've got, what's gone wrong, but keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until you perfect it. And that might take you 100 attempts. It might make you 1 attempt, but however you do it, just keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's what will make you successful. The other thing as well, as I said in my opening piece, don't chase recognition. Don't ever do something because it gains you 100 likes on Facebook, or it gains you an infinite number of followers on Instagram, or don't do something because you think your video might go viral, or do any of those things, because they are such short-term goals. If you're, as I said before, and I will keep saying, if you're not passionate about what you do, those short-term fixes aren't going to matter. Having 100,000 likes on Facebook, it doesn't matter. In the end of the day, it's the work that you do that matters, not one video or however many likes you are. I always believe that, I'm not somebody that really shouts from the rooftops about what I've achieved or what I've done or any of that. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is what people perceive me to be. And if people jump on my website and they like what I do and they like that means the world to me, because it knows all the hard work that I've done to work to this point. It matters to somebody, and that resonates with me so much. Do you know what I mean? All the ideas, all the thoughts that I have are always about trying to make myself better. The other thing as well is when people first start, they look at their competitors. Like for me, I might, when I first started, I went to that wedding fair and I remember I'd only been in business 2 months, and I looked at another DJ, and he had this wonderful stand with all these uplighters, and he had his magnificent stands and brochures, and it looked phenomenal. And I was like, I've got so far to go. Don't look at your competition as competition. Look at your competition as somebody to aspire to. Look at what they do. Look at how they communicate with people. Look at their social media. Look at the way they present their messages. Look at all of what they do and go, okay, but then don't copy them, because you have to do things in your own image. You have to do things with your own personality and with your own stamp on them. If you're just copying somebody, you're just a fake version of they are. You have to do things in your own right, in your own image and in your own way. And you may, as I said before, you may make 100 mistakes doing that. It doesn't matter. You have to be true to yourself, and you have to want to constantly improve yourself. And as I said before, there are going to be somebody out there that are doing infinitely better than you. But equally, there are those that aren't doing as well as you. And you have to know that you're doing the best that you can sometimes, and you have to take stock in that. That said, don't ever let your foot off the gas pedal. Don't ever think that that's it, I'm done now. The sooner you think that you've achieved everything that you've ever wanted to achieve is the second everyone else overtakes you. You can't ever rest on your laurels. There are times when like now with the pandemic that we've got now, like with COVID-19, it would be very easy to say, well, there's nothing I can do. There's no point, we're just going to have to ride this out and everything else. In this time, I've started a new podcast. I've continued to do my YouTube videos. I've continued to read books. I've continued to research. I'm just about to start a new website. I've taken on a new person to help me with my social media. So I understand that when I come out of this, that we've got everything in place for us to be geared up to literally start the first booking with the best version of ourselves. So that's how I am. I always plan for the future. Don't ever rest on your laurels. There is always, as I said before, there is almost so much work to be done, and you have to be hard on yourself. People sometimes say to me, like, you're too hard on yourself. You're doing really well. You're doing this thing. If I'm not hard on myself, if I don't at times berate myself when I have made mistakes, when I don't push myself, no one else is going to push me. Nobody else is going to do the work for me. There isn't this phantom bag of progress that somebody gives you and suddenly you're much further down the line. Every step that you take is progress that you've made. And sometimes progress is incredibly slow. Sometimes you literally take one step forward and you think, I'm doing really well. And then suddenly you're 3 steps back. It's having that fight and dogged determination to get up and keep going. And sometimes it will feel like you're walking through a wind tunnel and everything is against you. They are the times that define your character. They are the times that define you as a person. And they are the times that define you and make you better and want to achieve more and make you just want to be, as I say, I just want to be the very best version of myself. And I know I've got so far to go. And some people see that, that they've got this endless amount of opportunity. And some people think that's frightening. But I see that as something to embrace. I know that I've got so much to learn, and I love that. I love the fact that as I say, I've just started my podcast and I'm enjoying that. It's a new challenge. It's something new to learn. At the beginning of the year, I started doing my YouTube channel and doing these videos. And even if I'm honest, people don't really watch these YouTube videos. People don't watch what I do. And that doesn't bother me, because the reason I do these is because it adds content and it shows that I am knowledgeable in what I do. And for those people that do watch it, they'll see that. But if you don't, it doesn't make the fact that I've done these any less knowledgeable or any less personable. So I always think that doing these things really help. The other thing as well also is that you can never know enough. You can never have all the answers. I read many books. You know, I'm recently watching this book about social media. I've just recently finished this book. This is about why people make the choices they make. This gave me the impetus to start a Google book, to start a new website. I've read this book about Google. So these are the books I've literally read in the last 6 weeks. And I have probably read 50 or 60 of these books each year. There's always something to learn. And then, you know, I might read this book, for instance, and of the 400 pages in it, I might only take about 3 or 4 paragraphs out of that. But I've learned something new, and that's really important to me. As I said before, being in business for me, you know, is everything to me. And it's, when I've said before, when I was younger, I was a loner and an outsider. And I never thought that I would be in a position now where people believe in what I do, have faith in what I do, and I've become in my own field somebody that people recognise as doing a good job. And that means the world to me. That will always mean more to me than the money. The people that put trust in me and put faith in me and ask me to be at their wedding reception or function, be it in a photo booth or be it in a DJing capacity or whatever that be, the fact that people put their faith and trust in me means the world to me. In fact, it's everything to me, and I never, ever, ever, ever take that for granted. And that's why I enjoy being in a business so much, and that is my reason why I do this. It's because my business means so much to me, and that's why I've done this 4-part series, and I hope you've understood and taken into account what being in a business means to me. You don't have to have all the answers all the time, but I think you have to be dogged in determination. You have to have a vision, you have to have a goal in mind, and you have to constantly want to improve yourself. You have to at times be incredibly hard on yourself. You have to know that you don't have all the answers, but there is an infinite amount of research out there to do that. So I hope you found these 4 videos insightful. I hope you found the videos that I've done before in the past insightful. If you do have any feedback, always welcome. And as I always say, please do subscribe to my channel. Take care, guys. Thank you very much.